So we definitely want to give him a shout out for that for sure.
Nah, I appreciate it. It was I was awarded with a Community Bridge Builder Award yesterday from the Alert Partnership for my efforts in bridging the gap between community and law enforcement. So
that's impressive.
Thank you. Well, my wife is a state trooper. So, you know, the bridging of that gap kind of starts in my house, and me being a lifetime kind of street hood guy, through our relationship, she's been able to enlighten me a lot on just the outlook and how they view things from their side. And I've been able to do the same thing for her from my side. So I think in our household, we just have a better understanding of both sides. So I try to bring that understanding to other people that don't have the privilege of living with the state trooper or officer.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
I don't. Miss Val.
Yes.
Before we go forward, can we please give them just a little? You could brag, Miss Val. Go ahead, do your bragging.
Okay. Well, I don't know about bragging, but I will tell you a little something about myself. Okay. I am a licensed counselor, licensed in the state of New Jersey. I am also a certified life coach. I see individuals, but my sweet spot is with couples. I love doing couples counseling. I feel that I was called to that primarily as a result of having been married for 42 years now. And my husband and I have been gone through our own relationship challenges. And now being on the other side of that, I have a heart for couples. I have a heart for people who are in relationships and struggling because I want couples to succeed. And before I transitioned to counseling / coaching, I also was an RN. Oh, I should say I still am. Once a nurse, always a nurse. But I worked as an RN for 41 years prior to transitioning to counseling. So helping is in my blood. It's something that I've always done. Always lean to the helping profession. And again, I just have a heart for couples. I want to see couples succeed, all couples in general and Black couples in particular.
Heard you.
Told you she was gonna brag. I didn't want to. I mean, I was trying to be humble today, but you know, I know she was gonna brag a little bit. You know.
Hey, let her live, man. Let her be great.
I know that's what it is, Miss Val. I want to thank you for being on the show today, because, you know, me and Mike, we go back and forth a lot of times with conversations, right? And the one thing we agreed on was communication is very key to a lot of relationships and in life, right, with people you deal with. You know, we have a lot of Facebook friends. We have a lot of women around us in our life, and we got a lot of male friends around us in our life too that we talk to. And sometimes we hear them talk, and we like, damn, you ain't communicating properly, bro. Or that you're not communicating properly, miss. So, you know, this is the reasons why you have these issues that you have with, you know, a lot of the quote unquote relationship that you get into or you end up leaving, right?
Right.
So we said we're gonna do a podcast with you, of course, because maybe you can help this generation of dating now that they call have pee and poop inside of it, right? And help us to relate and help give some insight, because I feel like a lot of times men and women, especially in this day and age right here, the dating scene is very tilted, right? There's a lot of, well, whatever the woman says or feels sometimes has to be right, or, you know, should be accepted more, right? Now the failures of the men, it hits harder, right? Like there's no communication, or feelings got to be shut down, or we got to keep on moving forward as men, right? And then like if we try to have a conversation of pointing out little issues or flaws, like, well, you can't tell me, you know, as a man what to do, or you become controlling, or you hear the little deflecting word plays, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing, we run into these deflection a lot of times, right? So I want to start off by saying, well, asking you a question, because a lot of people are asking, a lot of people talk, but how do you feel in what's going on in today's dating world? Do you see hope?
Well, I'm always hopeful. Okay. I am a hopeless romantic. I think that there's always hope. But today's dating scene, from my perspective, as a more mature woman, is a hot mess.
Okay.
And I'm not sure that dating is really, that young folks nowadays really know how to date or what that process looks like. You know, obviously, I'm a bit older. So I'm thinking, and when I think about dating, I'm thinking about, okay, two people, you get to know each other, you spend time together, you actually go out and do things together. And a lot of what passes for dating nowadays is taking place on your phone, whether you're texting or you're FaceTiming or something to that effect. And I think that there's less face to face contact and communication in the dating scene now than it was years ago when I was in my early 20s and 30s and that sort of thing. But I think it's a hot mess. And another reason I think it's a hot mess is because there seems to be this antagonistic atmosphere between men and women, almost as if each sees the other as the enemy rather than a partner. And I see a lot of that on some YouTube podcasts and Facebook posts and Instagram posts. There's a lot of a negativity out there, and I don't think that there is enough that points to the healthy and the good aspects of being in a relationship and loving on each other.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. It's definitely somehow become a competition. Like you said, instead of a partnership. Yeah, I don't know where it came from or how it came about, but I agree with you 100%.
I think it started with a lot of people not being heard, right? I think when you have a woman that wants to communicate but is not being heard and seen at the same time, right? Then you have a man that's asking to be heard and seen and still not getting that. It tends to become this, okay, well, let me voice it this way, right? And then a lot of men that go through that relate to it, so they want to join in, right? And women, when they vent it and people that sees it go through that same thing as well, they bandwagon. And then it's like, now we're bumping heads with each other on social media now as well. Because it's like, these are people actually going through things of, I want to be heard, I want to be seen, but my partner wasn't doing it. And I think almost every man that I'm going to date is going to do the same thing for me, to me. I mean, I'm sorry. And likewise, for some men, it's, you're too emotional, you can't speak. And it goes into the, well, I'm not going to be heard, I can't be seen, so I'm just going to lash out against you now, right?
Yeah. Well, one thing I want to say that, there's this belief that women are emotional and men are not. I challenge that, because men have emotions. They experience the same emotions as we do. They don't necessarily show them or display them the same way that we do. And I think in a healthy relationship, a woman will understand that a man gets lonely, a man gets sad, a man gets hurt, a man gets betrayed, a man feels all of what we feel. They may not show it, they may not even say it, but that's when it's time for us to be intuitive, to know who our man is, and to be able to pick up on little things so that maybe we can have some insight and help in those times when he may be feeling something, but not necessarily giving voice to it.
Yeah, Rock, what up, brother? I see Rock in the comments. There you go. Love it, bro. Rock in the building.
So to what you're saying, Ms. Vet, I think you're absolutely right. And I think that comes from upbringing, right? So as growing up as a young man, the first time I fell and cried and was told, stop crying like a little girl, I learned at that moment the world wasn't accepting or embracing of me expressing feelings. So I started suppressing all my feelings, and it became like the only, like at some point, women hijacked feelings, and the only feeling left that was painted as masculine was anger.
Right?
So everything I felt, it got expressed as anger. So like you said, when I was lonely, instead of being lonely or looking lonely, it was expressed or shown as anger. You know what I mean? Because that was the only emotion we was left with, right?
I get it. I agree. I absolutely agree with that. But I also think that in your relationship, in our relationship, should be a safe space to display vulnerability, to be open. You may not out in the street or out in the world as a brother, you may not cry, you may not show those emotions, but when you are with your woman, that should be a safe space for you to be able to show all of who you are, including whatever emotions that you are experiencing, because there's a level of trust there where you can be open and be vulnerable.
So, Ms. Val, I have a question for you. Since we're going to get into this conversation about communication, I'm going to throw a scenario out there for you, right?
Okay.
Oh, boy. Good luck.
I'm holding on to my chair.
Wait, Mike. We got to get I got to be a little toxic, just a little bit, Mike. All right?
I talk to you almost every day. I just know your imagination. I tell you all the time, you should write books with these scenarios.
Val knows I come from a good space. You know what I'm
saying? Absolutely.
Right? Who knows where this scenario going to take us? But go ahead, Lou.
So, say a couple gets in a relationship, right? Me and Mike, we had a debate against this, right?
Okay.
When you get in a relationship, if you slept with someone and they're still your friend, could have slept with someone, but they're still your friend. You walk into this relationship. Are you supposed to divulge all that information one time?
First of all, I don't like euphemisms. And when you say slept with, you mean had sex with?
Yes.
Okay. No, you don't necessarily have to divulge all of that at one time. However, if the person that you are now in a relationship with is going to be in the presence of that other individual, I think that at that point, maybe you need to have a conversation about, we're going to go to this party and you're going to see Shamika up there. And, just so you know, me and Shamika used to have a relationship back in the day, but there's nothing going on between us right now.
No, because and that's a situation.
Shamika might start looking crazy at your woman, and the woman gonna say, "Well, what the heck? What's going on? What's she ice grilling me like that?" But if you prepare her for that, then now your woman that you are now with knows how to handle herself and not pay Shamika any mind, because she knows Shamika tripping because Shamika jealous because she ain't got you no more.
See, that's the thing I have, the issue that I have, right, Ms. Val, with that conversation, because I said, my thing was, I don't care if you came close to having sex with that person or not, right? The minute that person is going to be around your life every day, and I'm in your life now, I don't want to find out just because. Right. I don't want to find out because you remembered to tell me or because I had to question you. I feel like there's certain things that, as a communication part of you, should just put on the table. Like, hey, me and this person could have had something. We didn't do it, but we almost came close to do it, but we're still friends.
Yeah.
So at least I know who I'm dealing with that's around you. Because, again, like you said, those emotions of somebody else can play into our relationship, right? And I have a thing that I believe that once you had sex with that person, they can't be a friend around me in my relationship. I'm sorry. That's just my take, because I feel like that person already seen you vulnerable. He already had you, or that person already had you in a vulnerable state. And for me, I don't know if I'm going to accept the fact that knowing that person had you vulnerable, if I could trust them around my relationship, not because I don't trust you or because I'm insecure, it's because I don't know their intention. Because, again,
got it.
I'm not them.
Right. I hear what you're saying.
This is what we don't agree on.
I think it is a case by case basis. I don't think it necessarily has to be just cut and dry, black and white. If
that they saw her sex face.
Now, it depends. You know, you got to take it situation by situation. Oh yeah, that person said saw your sex face.
Yeah, that's my
now.
main
If you're
thing.
saying this is your friend, what kind of friendship do you still have with this individual? Is this just and really an acquaintance where you're not going to see that person much anymore, or is this someone who you consider to be a close friend that you formerly had a sexual encounter with? So I don't know. It depends on the couple. I believe in couples deciding what works for them.
Yes. But I feel like the communication part of it, Ms. Val, is more of people just telling what's going on in their lives and not finding out later on, right?
I get that. Yeah. You don't want to be surprised.
That's my the element of surprise I don't.
Yeah.
That element I don't want to play with, because I don't know how I would react knowing that you had the option to tell me the truth
and you didn't. You know what? I can speak to that personally, because even though Frank and I, my husband, have been together since 1980. Okay. I mean, that's 44 years now, right?
Mm-mm.
Before I met my husband, I was with a guy, and he and I broke up, but we remained friends. In fact, he was one of my best friends for years. And even after I met Frank, Frank met him. I never told Frank in the beginning that me and this guy had a relationship in the past. And I didn't, because I wanted them to have and build their own friendship before I divulged that information. Now, eventually they got their own friendship and they were close, and we would hang out, Frank and I, and this guy and his wife, and we would all have a good time. But when Frank found out about that prior relationship, it was, my God, we had been together at least 10 years at that point, and he was pissed.
Call Frank in here. We need to talk to Frank. We need Frank in here. We need to talk to Frank.
Lovey, come here. No, seriously.
We need to talk to Frank. Bring Frank to the front.
And I had to sincerely apologize. And if I had to do it over, I would do it very differently. I would tell him from the very beginning, because he was pissed. He felt betrayed. He was hurt. Now, it didn't impact him and that guy's friendship, because they had already built the friendship. But he felt some type of way.
You on the show?
I'm on the show. They said, get Frank in here.
I fell asleep. Man, I can't
we were just talking about you, Frank. We were just having a good conversation about you.
I told him about, you can't say names, baby.
Oh.
They want to hear your point of view.
No.
He can't hear you. Let me take this my earbud out.
And I'm glad.
Yeah, but
I'm glad. But like I said, for me.
Wait, hold on, Lou. Yo, good evening, Frank. We sorry to get you up out your bed, good brother.
He was laying on the couch, fast asleep.
No, but the thing is, you see, for Frank, he had a relationship.
Just come here. Here's my husband.
Got me on camera looking on raggedy. How many people gonna see me?
Everybody.
Hopefully the whole Facebook. Don't worry about it. The whole Facebook is gonna see you right now. How you doing?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Good evening.
Pulling up, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you for showing your face on the camera and letting us know the man that actually got pissed, because I would have been pissed too. All right.
Yeah. So tell him how you felt when you found out later.
Yeah. I was very angry, because I specifically asked, because I knew of this friendship, and being a man, I'm saying he'd been around a woman long enough, something might have happened. It's just
right.
It's just natural that not that always something has to happen, but you're at least gonna talk about it, see where we stand.
Yeah.
So I asked, nah, we ain't do nothing. Nah. Even at that point, I'm saying, yeah, right. Please.
Hold on. Not to cut you off, Frank, but Miss Val, that ain't how you painted the picture. You painted a picture like you just it was omission. You didn't paint that you flat out.
It's been 44 years of build-up, Mike. It's been 44 years. Some mistakes was made, clearly.
Yeah, she tried to paint the picture like, well, I just didn't say nothing. No, you lied. That's different.
I clearly asked, again, knowing that they hung out a lot, went to clubs and was at each other's places and drinking. I'm like, throw all that together, you know, nature's gonna kick in. So I clearly asked, and I was told no over and over again.
Even on not over and over again.
Oh yeah, I wasn't told no once. I was told many times.
You didn't ask more than
Hey,
once.
right now, Frank got good memory right now. This is one of those memories you don't forget. You don't forget that type of. Yeah, that's one of those you don't forget that. You don't
coming back.
Yo,
now,
Luke,
I didn't ask.
He knew the name and all that. Soon as
he knew the name and all that. You didn't even have to call the name. He called the whole
fellas.
Yeah, go ahead, Frank.
I didn't ask every week, but periodically the thought would come up, and I would ask again, and was told no. I said, all right, whatever. And finally, years later, now this is after I developed a friendship with this brother. We hung out, we laughed.
Yeah.
And years later, I was told, well, yeah, we did something like they did some crap. If I'd have known, I wouldn't have wanted to be friends with this MF.
And see, and that's why.
Frank, I got one question. Did you want to beat him up at that moment? Yes or no?
Yeah.
All
it was in the back of my mind, yeah.
All right. We just got to make sure. We just got to make sure you was right.
Yo, that was actually my question. So she said that going forward, y'all still remain friends because the friendship was already established. But my question was, did you feel betrayed by him as well, knowing that for 10 years he here dapping you up and keying, and he know too? He know you don't know.
No, I don't know. If I'm trying to be honest, thinking about how did I blame him?
Yeah, I don't think he did.
No, because it really wasn't on him to tell me.
Right.
It was on the person I was living with. And actually, I found out years later he was telling her, "Listen, you need to tell."
He did
tell Frank about our.
Oh, so he's a stand-up guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So he should have walked away the whole time. He should have been nope. Let me not put myself there because I don't know how Frank don't look like he was easy back in the day, neither. Frank,
no.
Right. And he knew
he was easy neither. So that could have ended real bad for Homeboy. Real quick. It ended real bad.
And you know,
because if I had found out early, I might have ascribed blame to him. So you've been hanging out with me all this time, man. I'm gonna whip your ass.
Yeah, I think that's how I would have felt.
I'm with you, Frank, because my mom would have whipped your ass. Listen, I'm with you. Trust me, because my mind would have triggered. Like, hold on.
Yo, and on the other side, I might have been okay with it at first, but the second me and you really started to build a friendship and a bond, it wouldn't have sat well with me. Because it would have felt fake every time I'm around you. I'm like, nah, this ain't. I don't know if I'd have been able to keep that going for 10 years, knowing.
Yeah, like I said, because I didn't know, at least I didn't have no concrete proof. And like I said, we hung out and, you know, I had my little own business and he used to supply me with stuff like that. And we would just kick it like that. And in the back of my mind, I always wondered, but you know, I moved past it until I found out. I said, wow, all this time that you've been lying to me ain't just some crap. So talking about Val lying to me.
Yeah.
Question. How do you handle, because, and I'm glad both y'all are here because now we're actually looking at couples that deal with certain things communication-wise, right? How did y'all get past that together though? Because for me, like, I feel like that trust could also had been lost, right? So, and then at the same time, how did y'all cope, right? Because it's kind of hard to bounce back sometimes when you find out the truth after you've been told a lie, right?
It does, but because of the involvement had been so many years ago, there was nothing for me to really get angry about that involvement. You know, I guess it was easier to get over the lie than if I had known about the involvement earlier. And, you know, but so it was kind of easy. I can't really explain it other than kind of feeling, why you lied to me? Come on, I knew that. Because again, thinking back, I wasn't that thick that I didn't think something could happen. So because I believed something happened, I guess I wasn't so surprised when I found out. Yeah. I just wish I had been told earlier.
Yeah. And I think it was kind of easier to get past that because they had already had a friendship. You know, Frank was upset and he was hurt and angry initially, but he didn't stay that way for very long because we all had a friendship. And that was my reason in the beginning for not telling Frank, because I wanted them to have a friendship. But again, if I had to go back and do it over, I would not do it that way.
Miss Val. Wait, Miss Val.
Wait,
hold on. Miss Val,
were
you trying to force?
Wait, Lou. What you saying, Frank?
Especially since I had a similar situation where I had relations with someone who became close to my wife, but I told her right out the gate about this person, what our relationship. I can't remember.
Now who was that? Now who was that?
Frank,
Frank,
yourself right now. You're winning right now, Frank. Stay in the winning lane.
I can't lose. I can't lose with this one. And I told her about it. And I granted that relationship was long before I met Val, just like the situation with her and her friend.
All right, we have a question for y'all.
I knew they were going to be around each other sometime. So I said, you know what? Hey, so-and-so, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Somebody asked a question to y'all in the comments. They asked, are you glad she didn't tell you right away, considering you and the guy became good friends?
I think in retrospect, yeah. Damn. Because we became close and we confided in each other. Sometime I would call him when we were going through some issues. So in retrospect, it worked out. Would I have preferred to have known and still see if we can develop a friendship, which we probably could have, because you got to remember.
No, not back then. You wouldn't have been able to do it back then. No.
Frank, why are you lying on yourself now, Frank?
I'm trying
to know you wasn't that guy back then, Frank. No, why are you trying to act? Why are you trying to be a good guy today, Frank?
No, he's answering with his 60-something-year-old self.
We don't want to hear the mature you. We want to hear the part where you was mad, Frank. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear when you was mad, Frank.
What I think I was going to say is maybe we could have built a friendship years after finding out. But at 22 or 23, I'd have said, listen, that mofo can't call you.
Right.
He can't come up at my house.
Right.
Because if I catch you around, I'm going to be some problems.
Right. That's who he was. That's who he was back then, Lou. And Mr. Beast, that's who Frank was back in the day.
Look, that's who Lou is right now.
Hey, there's certain things in life I just don't go for. That's one of them. Because I believe, like I said, I have a thing in my head that I believe we're men. And I feel men do get very territorial sometimes. And, if I know I had this woman vulnerable and she was in love with me at some point in her life, even though she's moved on and still kept me around, there's that lingering ounce of feelings that might still be there, right? And like Frank said, we always have a weak moment, or y'all was in a club partying all the time. Who's to say one night y'all don't get drunk and his little gears go off? Maybe I'm going to try her again this time, right? And now I got to really put your head in the floor, right? Because you tried my wife behind my back or tried to be slick. I don't want to be the one to put your head through the floor, right? I want you to go there naturally by God's grace, not mine, right?
Right. I feel you. I feel you on that. And yeah, we should have handled it. No, not we. I should have handled it differently back then. But my heart was in the right place, though.
Well, this is why I love Miss Val, though, because honestly speaking, she helped me out in my relationship, right? So, and the first thing Miss Val said to me when we first talking, she said, "I am not perfect. Me and my husband, we hit our bumps, we elevated, we grew from it, right?" And when you actually hear people like that talking to you, that actually been through something and can relate and can point out flaws to you, you're more easy to understand and work with that person and allow that person to help guide you, right? Because a lot of times, the other conversations that come up when you're arguing in a household, right? Or your partner comes to you with an issue. You had nothing to talk about all day. But I come to you and today I say, listen, babe, something's bothering me about you. And instead of that person actually hearing what you're trying to say to them, instead of taking that in, they reflect it by saying, well, you did this the other day. You were doing this. And I'm like, well, hold on. Today is not what you cared about. You didn't have nothing to talk to me about today.
Right.
This is me coming to talk to you now. So are we talking about something else?
I call that trying to hijack the conversation. And that is out of order. That is completely out of order. When your partner comes to you with a concern or they want to talk about something, the wrong reply is, well, you do this and you did that also, or, well, what about me? No, let's stick to what I'm bringing to you. I don't have a problem talking about what you want to talk about, but let's just deal with this first, one conversation at a time, because if not, it becomes completely derailed. Now, one partner is trying to defend their position and the other one is trying to defend their position, as opposed to just listening. Hear what your partner is saying. The best communicators are the ones who listen well and hear well and respond to what their partner is actually saying, not what you think they said, not what you think they meant, not as put through a filter of what they said or did 5 or 6 months ago, but what they are actually saying right now. Then and only then, when you are clear on that, then you respond.
You know,
yeah, Frank, I'm sorry.
I'm still learning how to deal with that, because I'm that guy who hasn't said anything all day. Nothing of significance, no issue. So he comes to me and now it's like,
yo, Frank, you sure you want to go back to sleep, Frank? Because I don't want to put you
I'm out of that. It's like this inner defense mechanism kicks in. Yeah. When I hear, I'm gonna describe it as this. It doesn't necessarily mean this, but when I hear a complaint or a concern, it triggers, well, damn, I got concerns and stuff too, and I ain't spoke about them for 2 months.
And what I tell you,
you're trying to deflect. Yo, it ain't about you right now.
Right.
But and that has been and still remains to be difficult for me, because I'm not really like a talker that much, or things that might be bothering me at the time. It's not important enough to bring up. But when she brings up whatever's bothering her, it's like I go into defense mode. Now I got to talk about my stuff. And like she said, now we're just going like this to each other.
Yeah.
See, I have a thing with that. I feel like I don't care about your problems when I'm talking about mine now, because you don't have
there you go.
I don't want to. I don't care if you done hit your head and it was because of me. I'm sorry. You should have said something then. If you didn't say nothing then, it has no value to me no more. Because I feel like if you suppress your feelings for me, or because you want to suppress it, that's who you are. That's on you now. I can't stop you from doing that. That's on you. That's your problem. That's something you have to work on, right? When it comes to, and I feel like when it comes to certain things, and I feel, because a lot of relationships, you hear a lot of people say, well, you don't listen. I'm like, if I come and talk to you and you're trying to tell me about the conversation instead of listening to what I'm saying, you wouldn't have questions. You wouldn't have to debate me, because you would hear exactly what I'm saying. Because I'm the one that brought up the conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah, I fully understand, but I'm a little bit with Frank sometimes on this, because I feel like, and you know what it is for me?
What is it?
It's funny because I've seen it change, right? So the more I'm into a woman, the more I'm willing and able to tolerate stuff from her that may not be ideal for me, right? So for me, it's like, when you complain about, oh, you left a cup in the sink. Yeah, but 90% of the times I wash the dishes. You know what I mean? So it's like, where's your tolerance level for me? Like, how much are you really into me if you can't even tolerate these small things? Meanwhile, I tolerate certain things from you because of my love for you. So it's like, where is your tolerance at based on your love for me, if this is enough to ruin what was even an okay or a good moment?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And the question is, how much of a match are you two? If little things like that are going to bother you or set you off, something that, don't you be looking at me like that. Something my mother taught me is, you got to pick your battles. Pick your battles. Don't pay him no mind. Don't pay him no mind. Don't pay, how they didn't Wizard of Oz.
Wait, Frank is a problem. I see that. Frank's a problem. I like Frank. Frank is a funny guy. Frank is a real funny guy. Frank is a funny guy.
Oh, man. Yeah, but you got to pick the battles,
Miss Val, and me and Mike had that conversation, because I said to him, yeah, it could be the simple thing with the cup, right? But those little things can be somebody that maybe their buildup, like, all right, I don't like when you leave the dishes, even though you wash it 99% of the time. But if you're going to do it right? Or because if I ask somebody to do something for me in my household or whatever, I would want you to do it right? Or not, because those little things bother me. Maybe people have little pet peeves, right? And again, it comes with a communication where you know your partner. Like, these are their pet peeves. These are what they don't like. Like, not to bring this up and sound crazy, but, the pads in the bathroom and stuff like that with women. That thing is that for me, that is a pet peeve. Thank God I don't have those issues in my household, but that thing is an issue. Some women do, leave those things laying around sometimes. You be like, all right, listen, man, I don't know about all of this. Go out, right? And that might be a little pet peeve to me. But even though it's a natural thing that happens every day, right?
Right. Yeah, but you don't necessarily want to see it laying around.
Yeah. So now I'm bringing that to your issue. Now it could be Mike saying, well, I leave my shoes at the front door. I take them off and I just leave them there. I don't put them on the rack. But that's just a little flaw. Like if
it is, and I get that, and that's one of the issues that it used to something that used to bother me, but it doesn't any longer. Not to the same degree. Now we have a hamper for the dirty clothes, right? Right.
I'm looking at Frank's face.
On the floor next to the hamper. That used to drive me crazy. And I would say, Frank, the hamper's right here. Why do you put your clothes on the floor near the hamper? Now, I just pick them up.
I was undecided. When I took that shirt off, I didn't know I might have put it back on tomorrow, depending on how I felt. But when I got up tomorrow, I'd went a different direction. So that's.
but does Frank say, well, I do this, but you always leave the drawers open?
Well, he didn't. I don't think he had a comeback like that.
I don't think he doesn't tell you. He doesn't deflect with you, does he? Like in that sense. So the thing what I'm saying is to like Mike's point of view. When he said with the dishes, I'm like, if she come and say, I don't want can you wash that one cup that you leave in the sink all the time after all the dishes is washed? And you go using one cup and leave it in the sink. I'll wash it tomorrow. That might be an issue, and she bringing it up to you now. And Mike was like, well, you do it too.
Right, but
stop being petty.
Stop being petty. But my perspective is that's not the time to say, well, you do it too. You can say, you know what? Okay, babe, you want me to leave the cup in the sink? I won't leave the cup in the sink.
But that's a lie, because I am gonna leave the cup in the sink again.
Just like I'm gonna leave the toilet seat up.
You feel me? When you walked in the bathroom, wasn't you looking at the toilet before you sat down? Like,
hello.
Oh, listen, let's not go there, bro. Let's not go there.
Frank is.
Hello. Let's not go there.
Listen, why I gotta put it down?
Because that's where it's supposed to be.
Who said?
All right, me. So I'm gonna tell you.
So, look, you heard the answer. She said, "Me."
But you know what's crazy? I learned that very much so. I left the seat up one time, and middle of the night, my baby went and used the bathroom.
In the middle of the night,
bro. The scream, the yell, the cursing, the attitude, the don't touch me.
Yo, could you imagine being half asleep and you end up with your whole butt in the toilet?
Yo, ain't talked to me for at least a whole day and a half, bro. Ever since that day, dog, I've never left the toilet seat up. I promise you. That was something I had to learn. Boy, the
but
part
you know what?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I just want to say, I think most issues in most relationships can either be resolved or come to an understanding with just a simple conversation.
Agreed.
Where each partner really listens to the other and only responds to what your partner actually says. Just have a conversation about it. You don't have to argue about it. You don't got to get mad about it. Let's just talk about it. You left the cup in the sink. Okay, babe, you know what? You're right. I left the cup in the sink, but help me understand why that bothers you so much. Maybe there's something in that person's background where the cup in the sink has a other meaning than just a cup in the sink. But we won't know that if we don't have that conversation. But whatever the issue is, whether it's a small issue or whether it's a big issue, I think you can either have a resolution or an understanding, because I don't think that all conflict can necessarily be resolved, so to speak. Because sometimes you have to agree to disagree, but don't be disagreeable.
Crystal said, nobody tell y'all where to keep the tool bag and the type of instruments to put inside of it.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So I learned to accept I learned to accept her. Look, I call it football equipment. because it's pads and stuff. So I just.
Yo, you're funny.
I swear, I'm like, no, babe. Like when she coming with that bag, I'm like, oh, you ain't got some more football equipment?
All right. Here's a valid question, Ms. Val.
Yeah.
And Mr. Frank, you could talk to me about this too, and Mike, because people believe that tone changes the conversation, right? And I believe I have this thing where if I'm mad at that moment and I'm trying to vent something to you because you did it at that moment and I am talking to you in that moment, if I'm not attacking you purposely, physically harming you or anything, but I'm mad so you hear it in my tone, I don't think that should change the way of you not trying to listen and deflect by saying, well, you did this or your tone is what's causing me not to want to hear you out. I feel like you made that person mad at that moment.
Yeah.
And
well, I have a couple of responses to that. I got a couple of responses to that. One is it just your tone and your volume? But you also have to consider body language as well. Is your body language communicating something more than anger? That's number one. Number two is, what is your partner's history in terms of her past dealings with aggression and anger? Because that could be a trigger for your partner, depending upon what they've experienced either in their childhood or in past relationships. If they've been in an abusive relationship, if they were abused as a child, and when their partner, especially if the partner is taller than them or bigger than them or standing over them, that can be a trigger, and they may become fearful, and in that moment may not have the capacity to respond to whatever it is you are saying.
Okay, so here's the thing, right, Ms. Val? Just saying,
look, whenever he start his sentence with "here's the thing," just buckle your seatbelt.
Here's the thing. Suppose my wife catches me cheating, right? And she comes screaming at me. I can't believe you did this, that. Am I supposed to just ignore her because she's mad?
Oh, hell no.
No. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is, I feel like if that person is mad and they're trying to get their point across of how they feel, I feel like you should hear the message more than anything else, because there's a point of it. There's a point of it where I feel like people do things and my reaction might not be of calm, because I'm not going to take that 5 minutes or 10 minutes to think to calm down. I want you to know how I feel in this moment because it hurt. Right? And I believe when you feel the truth and pain sometimes, it never comes out perfect.
Right.
And, you know, there's two schools of thought with that. Of course, like I said, depending what it is, you're going to respond and you're going to be angry. What I've learned over the years now is you might have that initial reaction. But as long as you recognize, hey, you know what? I need to go back and apologize for maybe my tone, which I've learned to do. Hey, listen, I was mad 5 minutes ago. But, you know, I went outside, you know, and you might even say, I apologize for screaming, for cursing you.
Not for
how I was feeling. I was feeling hurt. I was feeling mad. I was this. But there's always a way to come back and address how you might have responded initially.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I agree 100%.
No, see, well, that definitely makes sense, because I've been victim to that. I mean, I'm the tell you how I feel, but then come back and be like, yo, listen, my tone was kind of crazy. I get it. Right? I apologize for the tone, but I'm not apologizing for nothing else, you know? And I've always been firm on that. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I should never have blacked on you that way and cursed at you that way or yelled at you that way. But it was initial anger that triggered me, right? And I feel like a lot of people don't know each other triggers, right?
Right.
Oh no, they know.
You think so, Mike?
Oh, they absolutely know. You can't push them buttons if you don't know where they are.
You've been together long enough.
Oh, you know. Oh,
they know.
Oh, yeah. So wait, hold on. So are we legitimately saying on this live right now, every time you get in an argument with your partner, you did it on purpose?
No. I'm not saying that, but I know what to say to Frank when I'm mad at him to piss him the hell off. I know what to say.
So you purposely started off.
Yes.
No, you might not purposely
start the argument, Ms. Val. You purposely say, I'm gonna trigger him. I'm gonna get Frank to turn red right now.
You might not purposely start the arguments, but somewhere in that argument, because you're hurt, you know what? I'm gonna say this because I know it's gonna get under his or her.
Yep. Because you want the other person to feel the same level of hurt you feel.
I just love the toxicity that's being spilled today.
And then at that point, you say, "Wow," you know, a guy might say, "Wow," and then hopefully he or she'll come back. Listen, I didn't mean to say that. I know that upset you, and that wasn't why I was angry. But I just wanted you to, like I said, I just wanted you to feel a little something for the moment.
I want to ask you something, Lou.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's say you are upset at your woman and you are very passionate about what you're saying, and your tone is out of order, so to speak, for lack of a better phrase. How do you feel if your woman would say to you, you know, babe, you're a little loud. Could you just bring it down just a little bit?
Well, Ms. Val, you know I'm a very passionate person. So I have learned from her and our sessions with you that, okay, you can take a pause, hear what that person's saying, because maybe, again, I could be triggering something in that person's past or something, right? And the last thing I want to do is make my wife feel that I'm attacking her, trying to hurt her just because of a conversation, right? So I have learned to watch myself talk now to her in a certain tone, because there's a way to be aggressive in a certain way that she understands I'm fucking serious right now, and it's going to get there, but I love you.
Right.
So I'll get there.
Right. I get that, because there are times when Frank is upset, and I can tell when it's an upset that I'm able to kind of soothe and calm down. And then there's an upset when I know I need to just set my little happy tail over here and be quiet.
That's what I'm saying. So that's where I'm at. That's where we're at. Because when she's mad, I've learned how to say your tone, right? And I say tone, and then she'll restructure her the way she's going to say it. And vice versa. Babe, your tone. All right, cool. Let's do that, right? But again, it comes with a learning phase, right? Like phase. You got to learn. You're gonna go through those big arguments first. You're gonna go to bump heads because everybody want to prove that they're the strong one, or they want to get their point across first, right? And whoever wins, right? It's like a winning competition now. More of just trying to listen at that when you first start to get together and arguing. After a while, when you start growing with each other, it's like, all right, because I don't want to sleep I never slept on my own couch. I never did that, but still. You know, when you sleep with your lady, you know, that little foot touch. You like that little foot touch sometimes before you go to sleep. You know, that's the one that puts you to sleep. When you don't get the rub feet and she move her foot or you move your feet, like, damn, she really mad at me right now. You know, she really mad. Now you sleep all comfortable because, you know, you try to twist and turn to try to get a little comfortable spot knowing you can't find it because you usually used to touch her feet before you go to sleep. Now you can't even do that. I don't like that feeling, you know? That's just me. I don't like that feeling. So I learned how to try to do little things different.
I hear that.
I don't know if this is much of a question or opportunity to give you a speaking point. When Lou told me we would be on here talking about communication, it was funny to me because, especially with the internet, so many people think communication is talking. Right. So when like we be in the chat and Lou be like, well, did y'all communicate? And they be like, well, I talked to him. But talking is so much more than communicate. You know what I mean? Communication is so much more than talking. You know what I mean? It's listening, it's comprehending, it's understanding. It's sometimes it's applying what you know what I mean? So I just wanted you to speak on how, like, all the different layers of communication beyond the talking part.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of couples that come in, that's one of the main things they say. We don't communicate, or we can't communicate. And I think what people fail to realize is that communication is happening all the time, whether you're saying something or whether you're not saying something, because we communicate with our facial expressions, with our body language, sometimes with just a sound. You know, sister can say, you know, that's, you are communicating in that moment. But it isn't that couples are not communicating. It's that they're not communicating effectively. It's that someone is, and usually both, are over talking each other or not listening, not hearing, not hearing. And sometimes, here's the thing. Sometimes I will ask the couples that I'm working with, I know you heard your partner's words, but do you hear their heart?
Mm.
Sometimes the heart speaks louder than the word.
Say that again.
You want to hear your partner's heart beyond the words that they're saying, or in between, or underneath, or around the words that they're saying.
Look, I had to get a little closer. She started dropping gems. I had to.
Because if you
was
do
a hard
that,
line right there. I gotta use that. I have to use that.
Because see, that's where the emotional connection is going to take place. Because sometimes your partner can say words, but their heart is meaning something else. They're crying out for something, they're asking for something, they're longing for something, but you won't necessarily hear it in the words themselves. But it's something about hearing your partner's heart that you can't beat that. To me, that's a soft place for couples to communicate and connect.
Well, just know that I'm stealing that because no, listen. My wife and I, we have a 27-year history. We've been back solid for 10 years and we got married in June. Often she jokes. Thank you. Often her joke is like, why you watching me? How you know? Like, because I'm always like you said, I'm listening for those sounds. I'm looking for them facial expressions. So I'm always, babe, what's wrong? Babe, you all right? Or I just show up with a water. How you knew? So I'm gonna start telling her I heard your heart.
There you go. There you go.
That is key though, Mike. That's what it is though. Because we were talking to Mike. We had a conversation. Was it Tuesday we talked, Mike? Or was it Monday? Monday or Tuesday? We went over all of this right here. We was going to talk about today. And we were bouncing these because, again, me and Mike bounce off like it is not everything we agree on. It is not, right? It is not. But, those little things of, hearing your partner is deep for me now, right? Because I've always I'm a pay attention type of person. Like, I don't know if the military did that. For me, it's just life. I pay attention to simple things. Like, I don't care if you jumped once and you usually only walk. Why you jump this time? You all right? Because you're making me feel a little bit weird right now. Everything all right over there. Like, those little things. So I pay attention to everything. And you using that word, that those phrases like your heart is like, I'm like, man, I ain't never thought of nothing like that before. Like, and I be thinking a lot. I be in my head a lot sometimes. I never think of your heart. Listen to your partner's heart, right? So that's a deep line. It's very deep. It goes a long way for people. Because I think a lot of couples don't pay attention to their partners. They don't know their partners no more. So when they communicate, and it's like, if I'm talking to them and I'm like, why are you in your phone while we talking? That means my partner's not paying attention to me, right? If I'm talking to you and you got your head down and you can't even look me in my face, are you even focused on me now?
I hear that. Yeah, that's a big thing with Frank and I. Sometimes I might say something and I'm done with what I have to say, and I might shift my body for a moment, and he'll say, Val, turn around and face me. And I say, okay, babe, I got to turn around. We want to make eye contact. Or maybe sometimes he might do that, and I'll say, no. There have been times we've been sitting across the table from each other, and he might look down in the midst of our conversation. I'll stop talking. And then he'll look up. Why you stop talking? Because you not looking at me. Yeah. That's why I'm not talking.
Yeah, I like when Frank just smiles.
Frank is when we're talking, she'll pose her question, have her response, but now she walks in the kitchen. Well, why you walk in the kitchen when it's my turn to speak? Oh, I got to do so and so, but I can still hear you. Oh, no.
No,
you need to come right back on out here. Right. And whatever's in the kitchen or whatever's on the phone ringing can wait until I have my say. Now you can go in the kitchen. That drives me crazy. Want to talk through the daggone wall? I can hear you. No, you can't.
That's right. I can hear you, but I can't hear you.
And like you just said, like there's so many levels to communication that's happening all the time. When you walk into that other room, you cut all of those other levels of communication on, and all you get is audio.
Right. That's right. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. And in terms of you were just talking about someone looking at their phone or doing other things when their partner is around. There are times when you need to have, your partner should have your undivided attention. Okay. There are times when I'm on the phone with my sister, who happens to be my best friend. And before Frank retired, and when he would come through the door, I tell my sister, listen, I got to hang up because my husband is home. And I think that we should pay attention to our partner like that. Okay. I'm hanging up because
Talk
now
to these young ones out here, Ms. Val, because they don't hear you. You got to repeat that for them, Ms. Val, because a lot of them don't understand those principles, Ms. Val. And I believe those are the key things that make a man happy, right?
Absolutely.
When your wife acknowledges you, right? And that presence that you're home now. You right?
Right.
And I feel like vice versa. When if we could be in a room full of people, but your husband come up to you out of nowhere. Yo, you good? You need anything? Just to check in on you, right? Show you he's thinking about you. Right. And he can go back and you can go back to party and do whatever you want to do. But that check-in was there to make your presence felt, right? And I feel like this situation, where we at today, I can't ask none of these young women out here, what do you do for your man? You know what they tell you, Miss Val? Mike can attest to this. I go on vacations. They pay for me to eat. They pay for me to sleep. They pay for me to talk to them. I'm like, excuse me?
So that's a prostitute.
Whoa. Uh-oh. Oh, they about
Miss Val, you went Miss Val. I wasn't ready for that, Miss Val. Wait, hold on. Hold on, Miss Val.
Yo, Lou.
Hey,
Lou.
Mike.
Lou.
Mike.
Lou.
Put the towel on the camera, Mike.
Yo, I don't even have the towel. I'm bugging. I don't got the towel. I'm bugging. I don't know what's going on.
Wait, I don't know what happened just now. Wait, Miss Val.
Lou, I've been over here trying to be respectful of Miss Val. She almost made me light up.
Miss Val, I'm glad you.
Uh-oh. Yeah, talk to their soul.
Miss Val.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me.
I had a conversation with a young lady. I call her a female dragon because she was talking a lot of fire in this, right? A lot of spice. She said she got invited to go on vacation. This man is offering to pay for everything. We asked her, "You think this man is doing that because you're beautiful?" She said,
"Because your bubbly personality."
She said, "Yes."
Okay.
And
maybe it's now.
And then me and Mike looked at each other through the camera like, I know she lying, right? And then we start asking her questions like, this man never tried to hit on you? She goes, yeah, but we didn't have that communication now. About
so I respectfully told her she thinks too highly of herself.
And she may think he doesn't want anything, and maybe he doesn't for right now, and maybe he's building up to that.
Yeah.
Maybe he's building up to that.
Absolutely, Miss Val. All that stuff is a down payment on the coochie coupon.
Oh, yeah, you got that right.
Listen, isn't it all to some degree?
To get there. Thank you, Frank. That is the end goal. I've never seen no man say, baby, you're just beautiful. I'm going to do all of this just for your beauty.
Yeah.
I've never seen no man do that before. And if I want to meet him.
A couple of drinks at the bar, listen.
It's a down payment, huh?
Until such time you find that one that you're going to build a foundation and a relationship with.
Yeah.
But that's part of the
game.
Yeah. Look, what you said, Frank. Everything before that, you just putting up shots, huh?
I mean, I get it. I get it.
I'm paying the bill, hoping to get some dividends at the end of the month.
Yeah,
I dig it because the thing about it is, Miss Val, when you brought up I get off the phone to embrace my husband, right? A lot of women feel that sex is the only thing needed and the little thank yous and love yous.
Oh, no,
right?
More than that.
Sometimes, and for some men, sex and some money is all you need, because requirements for women out here now is stability.
Well, you said sex and money is all that a woman may need from a man, or what do you mean?
Men offer that. Men offer sex and money because without money, she's not paying her bills. She's not getting her nails done. She's not doing her hair. She's not putting on the makeup.
Yeah, but why not? Why ain't she paying for her own nails and her own hair?
Ms.
And her
Val,
own
I'm just telling you what's happening out here, Ms. Val. This is
I know
not
that's
me.
the thing. Yeah,
I go hug my wife, Ms. Val. I go hug my wife tonight at the end of this conversation. I'm not outside, Ms. Val.
I'm not outside either.
I'll go hug my wife.
As I told y'all, I can't be outside. My wife a shooter. My wife a state trooper. She gonna shoot me and get away with it. I ain't playing around. I might be one dumb. I ain't too dumb.
A lot of men lead with money and sex because a lot of women require money to do things, right? Mm-hmm. If you go on a date, if I ask a woman to go on a date now, let me give you a bit of example, Ms. Val. Today I was speaking to a woman today, right? I said, give me your number so I could talk to you. The woman literally said to me, my phone is turned off. I said, okay, things happen in life. Do you have an iPhone? She said, before I could ask her about the iPhone and getting, the information so I could call her, she asked me to pay her cell phone bill.
See, I got a problem with that.
Ms. Val, I had a major problem. I deleted her. I couldn't, there's no way. I told Melissa, said, babe, this woman asked me to pay her cell phone bill?
Wow.
But it leads to her feeling that she could ask me that because this is what she's accustomed to.
Yeah.
And men lead it with
there are some women who, based on their looks and based on their body, that is the expectation, because that's the exchange. Okay. In every relationship, there's going to be an exchange of something, because you don't stay in a place where you're not getting a benefit somehow. So that's the exchange for them. They're beautiful. They got big boobs. They got a big butt. And that is the exchange for them. For some women, that may be the exchange. Because I'm giving you this, and therefore I want something back from you. But what is the something that you're going to get from him?
Well, the women say, when you don't...
Is it going to be love, or is it going to be just his money, his status, and that sort of thing?
Well, the women look at us when we have these conversations with them. They say, well, you don't do it, but I know somebody else that will. That's their answer to it.
Yeah. But is that really a relationship? That's transactional.
That's what people go to jail for.
So, yeah, I know that's kind of the way of the world, and the way a lot of situationships, not necessarily relationships, are going nowadays. But I'm not necessarily a fan of that. Obviously, you got to go, baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Frank, thank you so much, Frank.
This again. All right. Thanks for asking.
Don't get in no trouble, Frank.
No, appreciate you so much.
Don't get in no more trouble, Frank.
Now your
I'll deal with him later.
I'll
deal with him later.
All right, Ms. Val. I know we're a little bit over an hour. I want to ask you: is there anything before we get out of here? Because I don't want to hold it up too late tonight. What do you think is some major keys to have a successful, communicative talk with someone?
Healthy.
Healthy. What are some steps people can take?
Yes. Healthy and effective communication. First and foremost, honesty. Honesty, transparency, being willing to listen and actually hear what your partner is saying. And listen to understand, and not listen to just respond, because sometimes people are it's like they're just waiting to jump in like double dutch for their partner to take a breath so they could just jump in and say what they have to say. And if you are in that mode, you're not really listening, because you want to understand what your partner is saying. Very often with couples, I will suggest, especially if they're having challenges in their communication, say back to your partner what you heard him say. Okay, babe, this is what I heard you say. And you say what you heard your partner say, and they'll say, yes, that is it, or no, that's not it. Believe it or not, there was a couple I was counseling one time when the husband had to repeat it 5 times before the wife was actually able to repeat back what her husband said, because she said what she thought he meant,
yes,
what she think he said, what she thought she heard. But no, listen to and pay attention to what your partner is saying, and be open to your partner's influence and open to their suggestions that they may make, and respond just to what they say and not what you think.
Nice. My question for you is, as a therapist, is there a way, like when you have a couple sitting in front of you, is there a way to, I guess, assess whether they're having effective communication in their relationship?
Oh yeah, because it goes on right in front of me. And believe it or not, sometimes when a couple starts arguing, I let it happen because I want to see how they argue. I want to see if they're able to work through whatever that issue is, or they're just going to keep going at it and going at it and going at it. And I want to see if there's one who is aggressive, if there's one who is passive, if there's one who is passive aggressive. So I can see that in their exchange with each other right in front of me in the session. So there's absolutely a way.
Understood. Have you and Frank ever sought out therapy?
Oh yeah, several times. We've been in therapy several times. The first time, oh my goodness, it had to be at least maybe 25 or 30 years ago. We were having challenges in our marriage, but the real core of the issue was, and I'll take a lot of it on my shoulders because of certain traumas that I had experienced at a younger age. It was impacting how I was showing up in the relationship. And so we went to counseling because we had some stuff going on between us. And maybe 8 or 9 years later, we went again. So we've been in counseling at least 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
Throughout the course of our relationship. Even during the time, because Frank and I, we were separated at one point. I know I shared this with Lou. At one point, we were separated for about 6 years. And during that separation, we were going to counseling on and off as well.
That's very interesting. So during that separation, not to get on your business to ask what caused it, but during the separation.
I'm very transparent. I got no problem.
I mean, because that's not really what's important for me. What caused it? I'm more interested in how y'all navigated that time apart. And then, you know, a lot of times when you have a break, it's hard to come back from that break and not hold things that happened during the break against your partner.
Yeah.
So how did y'all navigate a break that long and be able to come back together successfully?
Yeah. Well, we got to the point where we had to make a conscious decision to let go whatever either one of us had done during that break time. Because if we're going to hold on to it and hold each other hostage by it, we wouldn't be successful right now. But we both agreed what happened. If we're going to come back together, if we're going to reconcile, if we're going to reunite and get our marriage back together, there's some things that some things have to stop. And some things we have to mutually agree to let go and leave back there. Now, were there still a lot of conversations that we still needed to have? Because you can't go from being separated for 6 years to now, boom, everything is back hunky-dory. It doesn't work that way. After we got back together, work still had to be done. But it was work that we both had to do, because otherwise it won't work if just one of us was willing to do the work.
No, understood.
Miss Val helped me out a lot when it came to my relationship, when it came to communication. So I know that communication takes a lot of time, patience, right? It also takes a moment of you taking accountability for some of your actions as well, too, right?
Absolutely.
I think a lot of times people are not taking accountability of their reasonings, right? Or the things that take place. Because even though it's an issue, both of y'all are the problem, right? Because it never would have happened if you knew who I was or you understood who I was. Right? And it's also my fault because I didn't communicate to you, this is how I am. and what I expect.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel
Yeah.
like the further we go in relationships and we don't tell our partner or explain to our partner who we are, explain to them what we expect from for ourselves, and then they do it, you can't get mad at them as so much because they don't know.
Nah, I
Right.
agree 100%, Lou.
Yeah.
I think one of the big problems in the current dating pool is that everything is microwave and fast track, and people are dealing with people that they don't know. And sometimes you can't express what you like and what you want in a relationship because you unsure yourself because you haven't been in enough substantial relationships. So I think a lot of times people think being with someone else is ideal because they see it, but they don't go through the proper steps to really be with somebody, to really learn a partner, to really build with a partner. They just want to get right to playing house, and it's supposed to be a certain way, even though, like you said, Lou, you've never expressed to me how you like your sandwich made. How am I supposed to know? Right?
Absolutely. I believe that 1000%. I believe our partners know what we tell them. Otherwise, you're making an assumption, or you're filling in the blank. I don't think it's fair to expect a partner to read your mind or to have to guess at something. I'm a firm believer in clearly and openly communicating, saying what you like, what you don't like, what you enjoy, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, what you prefer, what you will accept, what you will not accept. Otherwise, your partner doesn't know.
And it's a guessing game.
Tell them, and they violate something that is a deal breaker for you, but you've never communicated that. You can't be mad at them for that. It's unfair.
Agree. I agree 100%.
I mean, we definitely have a little bit more
understanding.
Oh no.
A little bit more understanding.
Okay, welcome back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You know what happens? I think Facebook really be trying to throw salt on me for some reason. I don't know who is in the back office that don't like me, but we're gonna have to have a conversation. I gotta contact my lawyers.
Yeah.
Facebook be trying to give it to me. But I think we have a moment where if the dating pool, what I want to ask you, Ms. Val, is if the dating pool has so much issues in it, right? How do you fix it? Because I think a lot of people are like, when I try to date this person, they give me a representative.
Oh, absolutely. For the first 6 months, that's all you're getting.
Not the first 6 months.
At least. Yeah. But how you fix the dating pool, the dating scene, when people are mature enough to want to fix themselves and want to work on their own issues, because we all bring some stuff. We bring our stuff into a relationship. But if I'm not willing to look at myself and my own stuff and acknowledge my stuff and willing to work on my stuff, it has the potential to negatively impact every single relationship that I get into. So from my perspective, people starting to work on themselves, because the best relationships are when each person spends time reflecting and thinking about, okay, what can I bring into this relationship? How can I make the situation better? How did I contribute to whatever chaos is going on in this relationship? Not what my partner did, but what did I do? And if each person does that, then now we're like this as opposed to like this. Because I'm looking at myself, okay? Because I want to present the best possible version of myself to my husband. And I want him to present the best possible version of himself to me. But I got to handle my stuff.
Yes.
And that's what got in our way early in our marriage, because we were young. We were in our early 20s when we got married. I didn't know about all the things and the traumas that I had gone through, how it impacted our relationship. Yeah. But had I known then what I know now, I would have absolutely gotten some counseling to deal with those traumas before I said I do. I said I do, and the traumas just were popping out all over the place. And it ended up in absolute chaos in our relationship. So I think each person work on fixing yourself, work on bettering yourself. And I mean your inside self and not just your outside self, because the outside gonna change.
Yeah, people going to get BBLs and they inside ugly. And that's men and women. That ain't just to the women, that's men and women.
All right,
Absolutely.
to the comments, they said, Woo, only caught the last 15, 20 minutes. Great discussion about effective communication. What's up, Kimmy? How you doing? Rock says, I believe women set the tone on how things should be. Agree or disagree?
I agree with that. I agree with that because I don't mean anything against you, brothers, but a man is going to do what a woman allows him to do. I absolutely agree, Rock, that the woman will set the tone.
Wait, say that again. Say that again. Say that again. You said a man is only going to do what a woman allows him to do?
Absolutely. And a man, when a man really loves a woman and cares for a woman, he is going to live up to whatever her expectations and requirements are.
Yes. Yes.
When he really and truly cares for her, when he loves her, when he wants to build a life for her. Because if not, he don't care about no requirements. Next.
Well, you know what, Ms. Val? I don't believe that happens anymore because I don't think there's any more standards right now that we're looking for.
No.
I don't believe men are actually doing the things for women because it has value to it anymore. I think men are just doing things for women because it is what's expected now, like the social media is presenting. The let me go take you on the $300 date just to show you I can feed you well. Let me buy you this brand new Versace sneakers or this brand new, Coach bag or Louis Vuitton bag now. I could show you I could treat you better than the last dude you had. He never had money. I have money. Or the woman now be like, there's a conversation my friend had with me, Ms. Val. He told the woman, my shoulder hurt. She didn't even bother to rub his shoulder.
Wow.
But
were they in a relationship?
In a relationship.
Okay.
But he's taking care of her, doing the thing that she requires.
Yo, because let's be clear, right? And I don't know if the social media created it. I don't know if it's always been a thing, but it seems from the outside looking in now more than ever, men are looking for women that don't want them.
You think so?
Absolutely. Like, men are looking for women that don't want them, and it's putting relationships in a situation where the woman feels like she's doing the guy a favor by dealing with him.
By going out with him. Yeah.
So it's like the energy is put into proving to this woman that don't want you that she should want you, rather than putting energy into finding someone who wants you.
Absolutely. Because the one who wants you, you don't necessarily have to buy what kind of pocketbook you said, Versace or whatever. I don't even know them. But if the woman who really wants you,
she don't require all that.
None of that. You could take me, we could go to Applebee's. I'm looking at your character. I'm looking at how are you treating the waiter, how you treating the server. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at, are you opening the door for me? Okay. Are you getting out of the car and coming around and opening the car door for me? That's what I'm looking at. Are you kind? Are you honest? Or are you generous? Okay. And I mean, I'm not just generous financially, but generous with your time and with your effort.
See, and Ms. Val, I'm glad you said that. My time is valuable to me. That
is the most important resource that we have is time.
I feel like I could get my money back. I could get all of that back. But the minute you make me waste my time, I don't even respect you anymore.
Lou,
I hear that.
Lou, you're gonna get mad at me. You see what Kimberly talking about? Ooh.
Women as well chasing potential. I don't think women chase potential.
No, keep looking. Keep reading the next one. You see the next one?
Overlooking
the obvious. You know what she talk about? You know what women she talk about? She talk about the women that think they got the super P.
Oh wow!
And that no matter what's going on with a man, and he could have been wrong his whole life, but she give him some of this super P, she could fix him.
Oh no! Listen,
can I be honest with you though? I've seen a lot of men deal with stuff because they never had that pretty woman. They never had that trophy woman.
Yeah.
They never, so because they finally get something like that, and oh my God, I could show her off. I could walk around with her on the street. Because, you know, most men don't even post their relationships, but all of a sudden he posting this one girl every day.
Yeah. And my son calls that a pillow princess. You know, they're real pretty, but they don't do much else.
Do nothing else, right? And
they start giving you a list of all the positions they don't do, and she's like, "Oh man,
yeah, right." And
well, let me tell you something about that. What did you say, Beast? The special P or the
super P, the super P,
the super P. One of my good friends years ago, Beverly, said to me, "You know something? I don't know what. How did she say this? It really don't matter when it comes to the super P or the less than super P." She said, because a man could take his penis and put it between two pieces of liver and get the same effect.
See, I'm going to get my towel. You are not going to keep doing it.
That's what she said.
No. Yo, Lou, we not going to keep doing this. So I got my towel now, and let me get a little bit closer to y'all.
Listen, I Miss Val, put the towel over it. Yes, Miss Val. Listen, brother, Mike, Miss Val been a very strong person when it came to speaking the truth, right? I believe that we're running in a day and age whereas men don't want to face the truth no more, and women are not willing to accept the truth now, right? And when you don't want to face it and you don't want to accept it, right, you tend to do this, right? And now you drift far apart. And then now that one person comes in and be like, yo, I might actually like this person. And I can't like you because you're still drifting away, right? Because you're following all these trends of what a man's supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
And allowing him to just be a man, right? And then men are into this. My wife's supposed to look like this, and if she don't look like this, I don't know if this is gonna work.
Right. Yeah, but even if she looks like that now, if you plan on being in a long-term relationship, 35, 40, 50 years later, she's not gonna look like that.
I don't know, Miss B. Frank still was looking like, you know what I mean? Frank still was looking like he got it together a little bit.
Yeah, Frank, a little. You can see Frank was a problem back in his day. Miss Val had to. Miss Val got in a few fights for him. You know, Miss Val, hey, back up my man. Now.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, you don't even want to know.
Miss Val, somebody in the comments said they want your services. So before we get out of here, because we got about 5 minutes left, I'm gonna wrap it up at 9:30. How can people contact you?
Okay, my practice is called, it's Marriage Beyond the Breach. Okay, it's Marriage Beyond the Breach. I'm on website Marriage Beyond the Breach, Facebook Marriage Beyond the Breach, Instagram Marriage Beyond the Breach, and I named it that on purpose because just because a relationship has a break in it or a breach, you can get beyond it to the other side. And that's what it's all about. It's about overcoming challenges and remaining, not just continuing to love each other, but also like each other. Because you could like somebody, you could love somebody, but not like them.
Yeah, I got a cousin like that.
Yeah, so it's Marriage Beyond the Breach. So you can reach out to me there.
All right, Miss Val. One last thing before you get out of here. What do you tell the men that don't know how to communicate and how to find some kind of way to communicate effectively. Because I feel like we touch on a little bit, not having safe spaces to communicate, right?
Yeah.
And that is a problem for a lot of Black men in today's day and age.
I agree.
So how do you help us Black men? And I say us because I was a part of that not learning how to communicate era, right? How do you help them to? Well, what's some steps they can take to figure that out?
Well, I would first talk to the women in their life, whether it's their wife, their partner, if they're living at home, their mom, whomever, to create that safe space for that man to open up and to be vulnerable, especially the brothers. You know, you get beat up out there in the world, you got a whole lot to contend with. But when you come home or wherever your place is, you want it to feel safe, you want it to feel comfortable, you want to be able to open up to the woman in your life who is the closest to you. And I would say to the brothers, when you are in that safe space, to open up and speak from your heart, be willing to talk about what you are feeling. Don't be afraid to share what it is that you are feeling, as long as the person you are sharing it with is a safe individual. And that is key, to learn the people in your life who are safe, because even sometimes the people closest to you aren't necessarily safe. So learn who's safe. A safe person is someone who listens intently, who is trustworthy, who can hold a confidence, who will be there for you in the time of need and ain't going around telling all your business. And they're open to hear what you have to say. That's somebody that is considered a safe individual. And people, everybody in your circle may be your friend, but they're not necessarily safe and, to open up to and be very vulnerable with.
All right.
So you gotta learn who they are.
And now I just want you to end it with the women, how to help them get to that safe space.
Yeah. Run.
Well, the women, I believe, have to learn how to soften up a bit, especially women nowadays. Saying, I just got to say it, seem a little hard and a little tough. Don't be afraid to show your soft side. Okay, don't be afraid to show your feminine side, because sometimes a man will respond to that more than he'll respond to your aggression. And be that safe space for him or her if you are in a same-sex relationship, you know, because different strokes for different folks. And if you're having difficulty with that, I would say try to connect up with a more mature woman who can be a mentor to you. I believe every couple needs to be somewhere in the middle. A couple who is older than them or been married longer than them or who possesses more wisdom than them that they can learn from, and another couple that they're pouring into. Because whatever you learn, you want to share. And what you don't know, you want to find out.
And it gives you a great point of reference, because something you may think is bad, you'll look back at that newer couple and be like, oh, shit, we better off than we thought we was. We just need, you know what I mean? Sometimes people don't have a reference point.
Man. But I like how you said it, Ms. Val, because there's a lot of, you know, athletes out here, women that run around barefoot these days and strong backs and feel like they can stand up, right? And I have a problem. Yo, Mike, stop, bro. I was just being, you know, I had to say it, bro. You know, there's a few out here that really feel like they have that strength with us. And I'm like, baby love, if you would just tone that energy down, right? I think you would get the best gang you're looking.
I agree. Somebody just said in the comments, so Kimberly said, most women lack submission. It's also needed in communication and not only in the bedroom. I will agree with that. Submission is not a cuss word. It's not a bad thing.
But why
It's
is it
not
taken that way?
bad thing.
But why is it taken that way though?
Well, because I think there are some individuals who have misused it and who have abused it, and they're the ones, because you know that saying, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, but that loud voice, the one who abuses it, gets more attention than the one who has not abused it. And who has, in the process of their their partner submitting to them, has also been kind and gentle and loving. That person, that guy, he don't get a whole lot of play. Okay, you're not going to hear about that guy, but you're going to hear a lot about the guy that has abused and taken advantage of a woman who submitted to him. And ladies, let me just say this: submission is not for every guy you get involved with. Okay, submission is for when you are in a committed relationship, whether you are with this person, whether you're married to this individual. That's when submission comes into play. But if y'all just dating, submission does not come into play. Submission is for a committed relationship, when the person, your partner, has shown you that he is someone to whom you can submit.
So Ms. Val, I understand that. I have a little rebuttal just for a quick.
Fam, we're not here for your rebuttal. We already got her here for an hour and 32 minutes.
One second.
I'm fine.
Before, suppose you naturally have an energy of dominance as a man, and that woman sees that and submits without the relationship. Is that bad? Is what you're saying?
I'm not saying that is bad. I'm just saying that I'm asking the question: why are you submitting to this individual who has not committed to you and you have not committed to him? That's the question that I would ask.
That right there seals it. I mean, I get it, Ms. Val. I get it, because I believe that if you gave this dude before me everything, the best of you, and now you come to me and you give me the bare minimum, though I have an issue. Because I feel like I'm better. I feel like there's nobody better than me. Right? So I understand you might have submitted to this one man and you gave him the world. But if you're with me now, or you're getting with me, I want you to give me the same energy you gave him and let me make that mistake.
Yeah. But see, I think that's why some women have difficulty with that S word, because they have been in that mode with someone who abused it. And therefore they say, I ain't never doing that no more. I ain't never giving no man this thing no more. I ain't never giving no man that thing no more. Well, listen, baby, if you're not willing to do all that, then you don't need to be with him.
I agree, Mike. We're gonna end this live until they start supporting the Cash App.
But like you just said, Ms. Val, it's very it's also very important that they are selective with the person that they choose to submit to. A lot of times, people, not just women, people make the wrong choice on who they submit to and then blame others. No, that was your fault. You clearly submitted to the wrong person, and now you want to be selective with your submitting because you choosing wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree. I absolutely agree.
Mike, you hit it on the head.
You're choosing for the wrong reasons. You're choosing for the wrong reasons, because from my perspective, character is everything. Okay, because a character someone will have with them forever. When the money's gone, the character's there. When the house is gone, the character's there. When the car's gone, the character's there.
When the look is gone,
really matters.
I agree.
Ms. Val, can I tell you, I thank you so much for being the person that you are in life.
Oh, I appreciate you. This was fun.
It was fun.
You.
It was fun. Yeah. It was fun. I felt this was something that needed to be had, because, you know, when men try to vent on social media and say, well, why do women do this? Or I think a woman should do this, the attacking starts to happen, right? It's never let me listen to what this man is saying, because maybe this is what's really happening. Or when women say something on social media it's the attack against it. Well, why nobody's listening, right? So communication was it's very big, and it's lacked, and it's missing. It's been thrown out the window. I don't think nobody actually zooms into like what Mike was saying. It's not just listening, it's taking the accountability for it, working on those things, actions, right? So now we're back to this where I'm like, thank you for joining us.
I love
some communication, showing them the steps. I hope it hit some of their ears and they actually listened and understood what was happening here tonight.
For sure. Yeah. Look, I want to thank you as well. And two of the things is a bunch of things, but two of the biggest things that I'm taking from this is listening to a person's heart, listening to your partner's heart. And also we have to start speaking and giving power to men's intuition. We always speak to the intuition and the feelings of women, but Frank had it right. Frank knew something had transpired, and he had it right the whole time.
I see what you did there, Mike. You went back to Frank. I see what you did there, Mike. He set you up, Miss Val.
Oh my!
Listen, you know what? Truly a pleasure.
Yeah, I just want to say this. I want to say to men that women are not the enemy, and men are not the enemy, because we should be on the same team. We are not an opposing team.
There you go. So that was a wonderful sentiment to leave us with. We appreciate you so much for pulling up. We definitely gotta do this again. Absolutely. Because we could have kept this going all night long. We could have kept it here all night. You would have never made it back to the couch with Frank.
For a later on date, we can schedule a part 2 for a later date. Actually get more women and more people involved in the podcast for this type of conversation. See how we can get it together.
I'm down for it.
I will say though, Ms. Val, give your last shout outs, give your last plugs.
Salute.
Make sure everybody know who you are before you get off this chat, please.
Okay.
Marriage Beyond Breach.
Marriage Beyond the Breach. It's right under my name if you could see it. Marriage Beyond the Breach. That is my private coaching business. But I also am a licensed counselor out of the state of New Jersey. So if you're in New Jersey and you have insurance, I have another option for you. But if you reach out to me, Marriage Beyond the Breach, you can go to the website. My phone number is there. The email address is there. Or you could find me on Facebook, Marriage Beyond the Breach, or Instagram, Marriage Beyond the Breach.
The Breach.
Marriage Beyond the
Breach. I said the Breach. That means the money coming in, baby.
Look, I did put the link to the Facebook page in the comments of all the lives. So
okay, thank you.
Indeed.
Ms. Val, I can't thank you so much. I can thank you so much. I'm sorry.
It's a pleasure.
Because you've done a lot for me personally as well. And Mike, my brother, I appreciate you for always coming up here, adding the flair of the towel is. I think the towel is the signature from now
on. Not the signature towel.
I think the towel is the signature. You gotta leave the towel next there. But Mike, plug yourself before we get off of here, my brother.
Man, I'm Otis. Y'all ain't come here to see me. Y'all came here to see Miss Val. I'm the Beast. You can find me on YouTube. I have 24 episodes of At the Bar with Beast doing one-on-one interviews. I'm around. I'm always online. I'm always on cam. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is up there being shown. Miss Val, again, it was a pleasure and an honor. I learned so much, and it was very insightful and enlightening. I appreciate you.
Miss Val, I know you have a YouTube thing that you do as well.
Yes, I do. And that's Marriage Beyond the Breach also. Okay. And I think I need to have y'all guys on my YouTube thing. So we're going to be in touch.
Anytime.
On YouTube. Yeah. We're usually we're on Sundays at 7 p.m.
All right. Well,
look, you'll be hearing from me because me and my wife need to talk to you. We don't have no issues, but we don't want no issues, right? And there sometimes you got to be proactive, right?
Absolutely.
No, most definitely. Yeah. Listen, man, thank everybody for tuning in for one of the beautiful podcasts. Ms. Val, my brother Beast. I want to thank y'all for being a part of this. Like I said, if you don't know, Mackenberries is the brand. Mackenberries, the love, the logo, everything that's going on in this world. We got a brunch going down next week, Saturday, April 27th. Tickets are $10. Go to our website, Spring Fling Brunch and Day Party, $10 tickets, www.macandberries.com. We are the love of the people. Right? We are, you can copy the style, you can't copy the love. Okay? With that being said, I love y'all. Thank y'all. Stay safe, stay blessed, man.